Hi, this is Rod Whitlock with Compact Family Services. Compact, compassionate action. So I want to take a moment. Well, first of all, I want to let you know we have a surprise for you. I'm sitting here with Alan Bixler, our executive director. As a matter of fact, we're going to ask Alan the biggest surprise that he's encountered since being on staff as the executive director of Compact. So, Alan, the biggest surprise so far, you've been there 7 months now, you live in Hot Springs, you work with the campus, you travel to Missouri for our offices up here, a lot going on, a lot of meetings. What's been the biggest surprise for you?
I think the biggest surprise was that this ministry is 78 years old. That was a huge surprise. I had no idea. Started with 17 kids. Now, that may not have been, a surprise to you, but that sure was to me. And I also was very surprised at not just the foster care, but how many families, how many kids are in foster care that our prisons, this isn't necessarily good news, but it was a surprise to me that the vast majority of prisoners have come out of the foster care system.
Right.
Well, that tells me that the value of the family has deteriorated, that this isn't just a foster child problem, this is a family issue. You know these things, but you don't know quite the impact of it. I think the overall epidemic of the deterioration of family was much more of a surprise when I started looking at it through it from the lens of foster care. So that was a huge surprise to me.
Yeah, and you mentioned 78 years old. Back in 1944, it was started by Gladys Henson.
Yeah, 17 kids.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we don't even know for sure, but I'm sure thousands have gone through.
Thousands of kids have gone
the
through.
ministry there.
Yeah. They tell a story. There was a little story. One of the boys goes out to the front porch, different day and age,
Right.
and rules and laws and all that. But he goes out the front porch. He's going to get the milk that's been delivered. He goes out there. He comes in, Miss Gladys, and he's got a little box. And it's got a little girl in it, little baby girl. Somebody dropped her off. Nobody really ever knew her history or anything. They named her. She basically grew up there in the home, and crazy story. But started 78 years ago.
And you
in the
wonder,
heart of one gal.
Yeah, and you wonder, that's a story we know. How many stories we don't know, and what's happened, and the impact that people have made. Several of you have been praying for and giving to this ministry, and you have been a part of that history of 78 years.
Yeah.
Maybe not 78 years, but you understand what I'm saying. You've been a part of it, and you've impacted so many lives over the course of that time. Through your prayers and through your giving. And we're just really grateful because, as you've said before, the best is yet to come. Who knows what God's going to do over the next 78 days or months?
God is really rewriting stories. We've had an opportunity we went on a family vacation with a bunch of our kids. A lot of these kids had never been on a vacation. I was on a horseback. There's a girl behind me. She's on a horseback. She's 15 years old. And she goes, Alan, I think God's calling me to be a preacher. Do you think that's right? And I go, I think you could totally be a preacher.
Wow.
And she's got quite a story. I mean, difficulties, all this, but she's doing really good. And she goes, I went to camp and, she goes, I felt like God told me I could be a preacher. I go, you know what? I think you can be anything. She goes, I'd like to come back and work at Compact. And I'm like, oh my word, I would love for you to do that. She goes, you would let me work at Compact?
Wow.
And I go, absolutely. I said, you know what? You've been through a lot of stuff. And I said, there's something about people who've been through some stuff and they know Jesus. They can help others get through their stuff. And I said, you're one of those. I said, you know what? Let's get you through high school. Let's get you an education. I said, I would love for you to come back because there's opportunities there and she would be perfect for this. So yeah, it's just, those kind of stories are a surprise.
Yeah, and they're great stories.
They're great stories, yeah.
So, hey, maybe you want to keep following and find out what's happening on campus, what's happening across the nation through Compact Family Services. I'll share with you an easy way to do that. If you go to compact.family/resources, you can sign up for our monthly digital newsletter delivered directly to your inbox once a month, and kind of gives you an idea of what's taking place in the month before and upcoming. So check it out, compact.family/resources. We'd love to have you join us in that way. Thanks again for joining us today, right now, in this moment. We'll see you soon.